Hello, my name is Rob Miller, and I'd like to introduce you to Trimble ProjectSight, a project controls solution designed for field management. ProjectSight unifies the field and the office with a single source of collaboration and the latest drawing sets, models, and documentation. Team collaboration happens right in the construction drawings. Whether it's an RFI, an issue, punch list, or submittal, everything starts and ends in one place. With role-based security, you can control the visibility and interaction with records to only the team members necessary. Let me take a few minutes and give you an overview of Trimble ProjectSight. To start, let's talk about why project controls has become such a hot topic of late. Obviously, project controls is not new, but with the recent advancements in mobile technology, software development, and the downturn we went through a few years ago, a number of construction companies have started looking at ways to improve their processes. In a recent study by the AGC, representatives of construction firms were asked about their biggest concerns. As to be expected in a growing economy, worker shortage and quality of labor were important, as were the rising costs of both labor and materials. However, interesting feedback was also received related to process inefficiencies. As you can see from this chart, concerns about both external and internal process inefficiencies were reported. Inefficiencies can be attributed to a number of causes in construction, but the one recent trend that seems to have had an inverse effect than it is intended is mobile applications. Since apps tend to be task-oriented, or sometimes called point tools, the app is designed to do one thing, usually pretty well. But construction involves a large number of team members, numerous data sources, and constant revisions, and this can be challenging to successfully manage using a number of different applications. This leads to a bit of a paradox that the industry is facing. On one side, we have executives and management that want to use a system that offers all the information about the project in one place. They want data to be stored in a structured way, and they want it to be discoverable, so that in 2 years they can go back and see what happened on the project if necessary. They have a preference for process-oriented tools to make it easier for personnel to go from job site to job site without having to relearn company standards. On the other hand, the people in the field like simple apps. Nothing beats easy to use and easy to install. Download in 2 minutes and be up and running in 5. In addition, the social aspect of these apps allows for in-app communication with colleagues without having to send an email or make a phone call. The job site is where the work happens, and executives and managers don't want to get in the way of getting work done. The plethora of apps, however, has helped create the inefficiencies that the graph on the previous slide referred to. The risk we run by adopting the point tools is that we create silos of information. Using 5 different apps, all created by different vendors, likely means that there is no connection between these tools. Email exchanges are not directly tied to the RFI, or the punch list items are not linked directly to the construction drawings. Being aware of the problem that affects inefficiency in a lot of companies and projects, and understanding the paradox that exists in many organizations, helped Trimble to define the strategy that aims to address this. First thing they recognized was that software needs to be easy. For example, it shouldn't take an effort to install, access, and control the software. They also understood that contractors are not necessarily looking forward to flipping through a manual to learn the software. Before the introduction of apps, software that did not ship with a manual was considered bad software. Today, software that does ship with a manual is considered bad software. Learning new tools has to be easy and on the fly while using the software. The ability to communicate with other team members was also an important requirement. With so many social platforms around, end users' preference has changed to in-app communication with others, similar to messaging tools in LinkedIn or Facebook. It became clear that to solve the problem of silos and the lack of a single source of truth, easy access to drawings was paramount. Drawings used to be made available through the drawing cabinet in the trailer, and this is where you went to find the latest information for the project. Changes were identified with sticky notes, markup, and slip sheets, but you always had access to the most up-to-date information. That's not necessarily true anymore. Due to the variety of applications and platforms used on construction projects today, there are multiple sources of truth, which leads to significant inefficiencies. ProjectSight brings back the drawing cabinet, but in a modern and digital way, meaning in a browser and in a mobile application that allows access to the latest drawing revisions. Models are becoming more popular. We're starting to see a lot of virtual design and construction, or BIM, in pre-construction phases. Architectural, structural, and MEP models are being brought together to coordinate and make sure constructability issues are detected before the actual construction begins. This is a benefit to all companies involved. Oftentimes, though, these coordinated models don't make it to the field, as the industry is still dominated by 2D plans, both in paper and digital forms. Trimble wanted to offer a solution for combining 2D drawings, 3D models, and project controls into a single solution with markup capabilities. And the result of this desire is ProjectSight. ProjectSight is a browser-based solution hosted by Trimble and also offers iPad application for workers in the field. 2D drawings and 3D models are the starting points for collaboration. Records and collaboration must be tied to these models and drawings, putting the data into context. All of the common silos need to be eliminated, and the construction documents, records, and collaboration all need to be in a single place. And the solution needs to be easy. Easy to access, easy to learn, and of course, easy to use. Let me show you some of the highlights of ProjectSight's capabilities before I dive into a demonstration. When you are in a project in ProjectSight, you have access to a number of modules, including drawings, models, file library, document control, and field management. The navigation is intuitive, and the tiled display is common throughout. In the Drawings module, you can view thumbnails of the uploaded and approved drawings. Selecting on one of the drawing tiles will open the PDF in a high-fidelity viewer. Drawing annotation tools provide a quick way to mark up an area on the drawing for communicating with team members. You can link your annotation to records such as RFIs, issues, or submittals, other drawings, 3D model views, web URLs, or even files. Your record content appears on the drawing screen, meaning there is no need to leave the drawing to review the questions, issues, or assignments. Team conversations directly in the record allow you to collaborate with team members through messaging, both in a browser and the mobile app. You can even respond to questions via email, and they will be added to the conversation in ProjectSight. Maximizing the record will show all information, including a detailed conversation view. All attachments are available from here as well: files, drawings, web links, and 3D model views. You can use the power of Trimble Connect to link records directly to 3D views for a different perspective, often helping team members to visualize and understand the item in discussion. Records are color-coded and easily searchable in a dedicated view. Tiles are used to easily visualize important details. Because there is so much information pertaining to your project, you need a quick and easy way to get to what matters. ProjectSight's search panel does exactly this. With filters and contextual search, you can easily locate what you are looking for. Data security is crucial. You want to be sure that the project team members can access information, but also that they only edit the data that is relative for them. Mobility is a key for construction. You need your project controls to be accessible by the boots on the ground, and ProjectSight supports this. ProjectSight syncs data to your iPad for offline access to the very same application as in the browser. The ability to view drawings, cloud areas of interest, assign records, and even collaborate on records is available on the iPad and works exactly the same as it does in the browser. Now, let me take some time and demonstrate ProjectSight for you. When I first log into ProjectSight, I'm presented with the portfolios that I have access to. Now, a portfolio is really a collection of projects, and if I'm a GC, a portfolio could be projects to a specific owner, or they could be based on the type of project such as healthcare or commercial. Now, for trade contractors, they would likely have a portfolio for each GC that they're working with. Now, keep in mind that users are only going to have visibility to the portfolios and the projects that they've been given access to. So let me go ahead back up here to my portfolios, and I'm going to enter my Building Point portfolio, and we're going to work inside of our Westminster office campus project. Now, within the project, you can see that we have access to the different modules. We have drawings, models, file library, document control, and field management. Again, keep in mind, this is all driven by the permissions that the user has based on their defined role. So you can prevent certain users from accessing certain modules if it's important. Now we'll go ahead and we'll start off inside of our drawings. When I go into drawings, I have two options. I have drawing sets and drawings. The drawing sets is where we're going to be uploading and publishing drawing set revisions. We'll come back to that. For right now, we're actually going to start in the drawings themselves. Now here we can see all of the drawings that we have loaded in ProjectSight. These are our current drawings. And I have several of them here. If I click on one, it's going to open up that drawing in a high fidelity viewer. So I can zoom in. I have full capabilities to view this. I have some annotation tools over here that we're going to talk about in just a minute. Let's go back to one of the other drawings that we're going to look at some markups and do some of our own markups on. So I want to open A201. Now, when I come into this drawing, you will notice that there's already markups on the screen. Now we have several markups. One of them here, the first one, this blue is actually a hyperlink. So if I click on it, I can see this is a hyperlink to drawing A1010. If I click on that in this view, ProjectSight will go ahead and open that drawing, A10.10 for me. And now I have access to easily jump to that drawing. If I'm done with that, simply select done, and it takes me right back to the drawing A201 where I was. So those are hyperlinks. We also have, in this case, this item here is a punch list item. And then you also see the red clouds. These red clouds that you see are actually, this one in this case is linked to an RFI 001. If I select on this RFI, you'll see over on the right hand side, it opens up a panel that gives me information about this RFI. So I can see the question that was asked. I can see also any links that have been added and any comments or answers that have been assigned back to this RFI. Now, this one is just a question about an area in a drawing, but I actually also have another one down here I want to look at. This one down here, when I select on it, you'll see it pulls up an image of a 3D model. So this RFI is actually linked to a location in a 3D model inside of Trimble Connect. And just like with the other documents, if I simply click on this, it will take me to that location in Trimble Connect. So here we are, Trimble Connect opened inside a ProjectSight, and it took me right to the exact location of that saved view. Now here in ProjectSight, inside Trimble Connect, I have the ability to view this entire 3D model. I can change my visibility. I can orbit and pan around this project as I need. But again, an easy way to jump into a 3D model and get another perspective on the data or the RFI in question that sometimes can be easier to help understand than just looking at a set of 2D drawings. Now, if I select done, it'll take me right back to where I was. Now, we've looked at some of the hyperlinks in here, some of the records. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create my own area that I'm going to cloud. And I'm going to create an RFI from this. So I'm going to go ahead and just cloud this area here around Training Room C. And I'm going to link this. Now, when I select a link, I have an option to upload files. I link into a drawing, a record, something in the library, the model view, or even a web address. Now, in this case, I'm actually going to link it to a record, and I want to link this to an RFI. Now, I can see all the RFIs that are already created. So if the RFI that I need has already been created, I can simply link it. Or in this case, I don't have an RFI yet, so I'm going to create a new one. The panel opens up over here on the right, and I can simply go ahead and enter the information about my RFI. The date that it was created, I can set it to a discipline if I need. I can set an importance on this, and I can assign this to a location if I have one, and I can assign it to a person. So I'm going to go ahead and assign this to somebody in my project, and I'm going to ask a question. We'll go ahead and save that. And now because that has been assigned, that person has actually been notified via email that they have an RFI assigned to them. They can now either respond through email and their comment will come back into ProjectSight, or they can log in directly and enter comments or answer the question. Now, we're done inside here. I want to actually go back and look inside of the document control area. Now, inside of document control, I have access to my action items, issues, submittals, and the RFIs that I was just looking at. So if I dig into my RFIs, I can see all of the RFIs related to my project. Now, I only have a few here, but imagine having a lot more and trying to find a specific one. As I mentioned earlier, ProjectSight gives you a great way to filter through these results and even contextual search. So I can easily just toggle and isolate the ones that are just open. I also have an option to filter it by location. So if I just want to find all RFIs that are related to the skin location. And likewise, I can actually do this based on assigned to a contact or assigned to a company. So very easy to navigate through and filter down the data to find exactly the RFIs that are of interest to you. Now, if you click on the RFI, you get the panel on the right over here that shows all the information about the comments or the added links. But up here, I can actually expand this view and get more information about the RFI itself. So here you can see I have a full list of everything that's happened, all of the comments, the question that was asked, again, the files that have been attached, and any comments back or answers. I also have the ability to mark an impact. So this RFI, if it has a cost impact, I can come in, I can set this to yes, and define an amount, maybe a schedule impact, and if there's an impact to the current drawing set, I can identify that as well. In addition, I have a full record of all the items or all the actions that have happened to this RFI since it was originally created. Now I'll save this RFI because I updated the impact, and now I have that information updated in the RFI. So now I'd like to step back and go into drawings. Now we started off looking at the drawings themselves, and we viewed some of the markups and how those were linked to RFIs and even created our own. But now I want to look at drawing sets. So we're going to upload a brand new set of drawings by simply clicking on the plus sign. Now, one of the really nice features here is I can drag in my drawings, and in this case, I have a single combined set of drawings. Now, when I drag these in, ProjectSight will go through this file and separate out all the drawings into individual sheets. Now, the other thing it's going to do is ask me to define the number and the title location. So again, this is a single PDF file with multiple pages listed in it. Now, once I'm in here, I can simply select to highlight the area of the drawing number. And then I can select to highlight the area of the drawing name. Now, when I select Next, ProjectSight will actually go through and look at all of these drawings and extract out both the drawing name and the drawing number. As you can see, it's represented here in the number column and then the title. So I don't have to go in and manually edit these. ProjectSight does this for me by automatically extracting those once I've defined the location. Now, I have this new set of drawings. I actually want to come in and publish this. I'm going to call it Revision Set 2. I'm happy with it, and I can hit Publish. Now, once I publish this replaces the previous as the current drawing set. Now I want to talk a little bit about security and access control. So I'm going to go to my portfolio settings. Remember that any settings I apply to the portfolio, I can then enforce these for all of the projects that are contained within that portfolio. Now we've talked a little bit about the users. In this case, we're going to go to the roles, and we can see that I have 5 different roles defined. If I look at the standard user, I can see what permissions they have. Here they have no administration permissions, but you can see they have permissions for file library, links, reports, and so on. If I look at the records themselves, I can see what they can do in each of these records. So whether it's drawings or inside of field management such as checklists, I can set the permissions based on the role as to what they're allowed to view, create, comment, modify, and/or remove. ProjectSight also has help built in. If I come up here to the top right, I have a question mark. This will open up help, and it will drive me to the help location based on where I am when I select the help. So I can get information exactly about creating the roles, editing the roles, just by selecting the help button when I was in the portfolio settings. I can also come through here and look at different settings that I want, such as permissions related to portfolio. So to close out this demo, I just want to reiterate the simplicity of ProjectSight. You've seen the tile interface that's very easy to navigate. It's consistent throughout the application. When we're inside the modules, you notice we have this right panel over here, which gives us information about comments, other attached files, and gives us the ability to search and/or filter through our data, making it extremely simple to navigate and get up to speed with this application very quickly. Now you should have a pretty solid understanding of what ProjectSight is and hopefully how you could benefit from it in your organization. The keys that I hope you take away from this video are that ProjectSight offers drawing and model collaboration in a single environment. You have full control over who can access the projects and even restrict what they can view and edit within the project. ProjectSight is browser-based, and you can also work offline using an iPad. And finally, ProjectSight is designed as a single location for team collaboration for a variety of project data and records. If you'd like to try ProjectSight for yourself, head over to projectsight.trimble.com and create a free account. Trimble allows for up to 3 free users on your first project. As you saw, ProjectSight is extremely easy to use, but Trimble does offer a free, self-paced online training at learn.trimble.com. If you'd like to learn more about ProjectSight, be sure to contact your local Building Point representative. And be sure to stay up to date by following us on LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and Facebook. On behalf of everyone here at Building Point, thanks for watching.